There is a reason you are here right now. This moment did not happen by accident, and this message did not reach you by chance. Something greater has guided your attention to these words. Something that has seen your silent struggles, your sleepless nights, and the weight you've been carrying in your heart when it comes to your financial life. There were moments when you felt alone, when the numbers didn't add up, when fear whispered louder than faith. And yet, even in those moments, you were not abandoned. This is not just another prayer. It is a divine encounter prepared for this exact hour, a sacred alignment between your need and a heavenly response already set in motion. Before anything changes in the visible world, something shifts in the spiritual realm. And right now, as you pause, breathe, and open your heart, you are stepping into that shift. This is the beginning of a turning point, a moment where faith rises, where chains begin to break, and where a new path is carved before you. Stay present, because what you are about to experience is not just words. It is a spiritual movement designed to reach deep into your reality and awaken the miracle that has been waiting for you. I recognize that this moment is not coincidence, and I open my heart fully to receive what is already being prepared for my life. O God, who sees what is hidden and hears what is whispered in the depths of the soul, I come with a trembling spirit, aware that you are near to those who call upon you in truth. As it is written, the Lord is near to all who call on him, to all who call on him in truth. And so I draw close now, seeking strength, seeking direction, seeking a fire that cannot be extinguished. Through the memory of St. George, who stood firm when fear surrounded him, I ask for courage to rise within me, courage that does not falter in the presence of darkness, courage that anchors my steps even when the ground beneath me feels uncertain. O Lord, you who are my shield and my defender, awaken within me a faith that does not crumble under pressure. For your word declares, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" Let these words not remain distant, but let them become alive in my breath, in my thoughts, in every decision I make. Just as St. George faced what others fled from, grant me the resolve to confront what has been intimidating me, what has been trying to silence my voice, what has been attempting to weaken my spirit. Let me not turn away from this moment, for something sacred is unfolding even now. O God, I feel the weight of unseen battles, the struggles that cannot be explained with simple words, the quiet wars that take place within the heart and mind. You know them all, and nothing escapes your sight. Your word says, "No weapon that is formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn." Let this promise settle deeply within me, breaking every chain of doubt, dismantling every whisper of defeat, silencing every force that tries to convince me that I am alone. Through the example of St. George, remind me that endurance is not weakness, but a sign of a spirit sustained by something greater than itself. O Lord, shape my thoughts so they align with your truth, for I know that what I believe will guide how I walk through this world. As it is written, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is the good and acceptable and perfect will of God." Let this transformation begin now, not tomorrow, not later, but in this very moment. Remove every pattern that leads me away from peace, every fear that clouds my vision, every hesitation that keeps me from stepping into what you have prepared. Let the courage of St. George remind me that even when surrounded by uncertainty, there is a path that leads forward. O God, there are moments when my strength feels insufficient, when my voice feels small, when my hope seems distant. Yet your word speaks clearly, saying, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Let this truth take root in me so deeply that I no longer measure my life by my limitations, but by your endless capacity to restore, to rebuild, to renew. As St. George did not rely solely on his own ability, but stood with unwavering trust, teach me to lean into that same dependence, knowing that I am sustained by something far greater than my own understanding. O Lord, I ask for clarity in the midst of confusion, for direction in the midst of crossroads, for light in the places where shadows try to linger. Your word says, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path." And so I ask that every step I take be illuminated, that I do not wander aimlessly, that I do not lose sight of what truly matters. Let the story of St. George remind me that even when the path is difficult, it is still purposeful, and that every step taken with faith carries meaning beyond what I can immediately see. O God, there is a longing within me for something greater, something deeper, something that cannot be satisfied by temporary things. You place this longing within me, and I trust that you also provide the fulfillment of it. As it is written, delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Teach me to align my desires with your will, so that what I seek is not fleeting, but lasting. Let the determination of St. George awaken in me a persistence that does not fade, a pursuit that does not weaken, a commitment that remains steady through every season. O Lord, guard my heart from despair, from discouragement, from the subtle voices that attempt to lead me away from truth. Your word declares, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. And so I ask that you place a watch over my thoughts, my emotions, my intentions. Let nothing take root within me that does not come from you. Through the courage of St. George, remind me that protection is not only about defense, but about maintaining a heart that remains aligned with what is right and just. O God, I lift up every area of my life that feels unsettled, every situation that seems unresolved, every concern that lingers in the background of my thoughts. You see them all, and you are not distant from any of them. As it is written, cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you. I release what I have been holding too tightly, trusting that you are already at work in ways I cannot yet perceive. Let the steadfast spirit of St. George remind me that patience is not passive, but active trust in your timing. O Lord, strengthen my resolve so that I do not turn back when challenges arise, so that I do not abandon what is right when it becomes difficult. Your word says, let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not give up. Let this promise sustain me when I feel tired, when I feel uncertain, when I feel tempted to retreat. Through the example of St. George, remind me that perseverance is not about never feeling weakness, but about continuing forward despite it. O God, awaken within me a sense of purpose that cannot be shaken, a calling that cannot be ignored, a direction that becomes clearer with each step I take. You have not placed me here without reason, and I trust that even now, something is being aligned, something is being prepared, something is being set into motion. As it is written, for we are His workmanship, created for good works, which God prepared beforehand, that we should walk in them. Let me walk in what has already been prepared, with confidence, with faith, with unwavering trust. O Lord, let this moment not pass without transformation. Let these words not remain empty. Let this prayer not fade into routine. Let something shift within me, something awaken, something rise that cannot be silenced. As I remain here, present and attentive, I choose to believe that what is being stirred in this moment carries significance beyond what I can fully understand. Let the courage, endurance, and conviction reflected in the life of St. George ignite something within me that continues to grow, continues to strengthen, continues to guide me forward. Without hesitation, I acknowledge the weight I have carried in silence, and I bring every financial burden into this sacred space without hiding or pretending. St. George, rider of courage, I call upon your strength in the very hour when my spirit feels stretched thin, when fear whispers that I will not overcome. Yet it is written in the book of Psalms that the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul, and I cling to this promise as if my life depends on it, because in truth it does. Do not drift away from this moment. Stay anchored here, because what is being stirred now can shift what once felt immovable. If you are still here, whisper within yourself that provision is already on its way. St. George, warrior who faced the impossible, I place before you every unpaid bill, every uncertainty, every door that has remained shut despite my knocking. I remember the words spoken in the Gospel according to Matthew, where it says to ask and it will be given, to seek and you will find, to knock and the door will be opened. And I refuse to believe those words are distant from my reality. Something is happening even now, even if unseen. And if you step away, you may miss the turning of what has long been delayed. Hold on to this prayer as if it were the last thread keeping you from falling, and say quietly that your breakthrough is already being prepared. There are nights when worry has stolen rest from my eyes, when calculations and fears have circled endlessly, but I bring those restless thoughts into this moment and refuse to let them rule over me any longer. St. George, stand beside me as I confront the anxiety that tries to define my future. The book of Philippians declares that God will supply all my needs according to His riches in glory. and I lean into that truth with everything within me. Do not let your attention wander, because this is where chains begin to loosen. This is where unseen barriers begin to crack. If your heart is still listening, affirm that your needs are being met in ways you cannot yet see. St. George, I ask for courage not only to endure, but to act with wisdom, to recognize opportunities that I once overlooked, to step forward even when uncertainty tries to paralyze me. In the book of Joshua, it is written to be strong and courageous, not to be afraid or discouraged. For the Lord is with me wherever I go, and I hold that promise like a shield against every doubt. Stay with this prayer, because leaving now is like turning away just as light begins to break through darkness. If you remain, declare that courage is rising within you, stronger than any fear that has tried to silence your progress. I bring before you every mistake I have made with money, every decision that led me into hardship, not to dwell in regret, but to seek transformation. St. George, help me rise above past errors and step into a renewed path. The book of Proverbs teaches that the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, and I ask for that diligence to take root in me. Do not disengage from this moment, because clarity is forming even now, shaping your next steps. If you are still here, commit within your heart that you will move forward with wisdom and discipline. There are voices that say I will remain stuck, that nothing will change, that struggle is my permanent condition, but I refuse to accept that narrative. St. George, stand as a defender against every lie that seeks to limit my future. The prophet Isaiah speaks that those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. And I cling to this as a living truth. Stay present, because the shift you seek requires your full attention. If you remain, affirm that your strength is being renewed even now. St. George, I ask for doors to open where there were only walls, for connections to form where there was isolation, for resources to appear where there seemed to be none. The book of Ecclesiastes reminds me that there is a time for everything, and I sense that my time of breakthrough is approaching. Do not turn away from this prayer, because what is unfolding may depend on your willingness to stay engaged. If you are still here, speak within yourself that new doors are opening and you will recognize them when they appear. I lay down the burden of comparison, the weight of seeing others prosper while I struggle, and I choose instead to focus on the path set before me. St. George, guide me away from envy and into purpose. The book of Hebrews declares that I should run with perseverance the race marked out for me, fixing my eyes on what truly matters, and I take hold of that direction. Remain here, because distraction is the very thing that has delayed many breakthroughs. If you are still listening, declare that your path is unique and it is unfolding exactly as it must. St. George, strengthen my mind so that I do not sabotage the very blessings I seek, so that fear does not cause me to retreat when progress begins. The letter to Timothy reminds me that God has not given me a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. And I claim that mindset now. Do not leave this moment, because transformation begins within before it manifests outwardly. If you are still here, affirm that your mind is being aligned with strength and clarity. I bring my family into this prayer, every person connected to my life, asking that provision, stability, and peace extend beyond me and reach them as well. St. George, guard what has been entrusted to me and help me build a future that blesses those I love. The book of Psalms declares that I have never seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging for bread, and I hold on to that promise with unwavering conviction. Stay engaged, because what you are believing for does not affect only you, but generations beyond you. If you remain, declare that your household is being covered with provision and peace. St. George, I ask for perseverance when results seem delayed, for patience when progress feels slow, for unwavering faith when circumstances attempt to shake me. The letter to the Galatians encourages me not to grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time I will reap a harvest if I do not give up, and I refuse to abandon what is being cultivated. Do not step away, because endurance is often the final bridge before breakthrough. If you are still here, affirm that you will not give up, no matter how long it takes. And as I remain in this moment, I sense that something is shifting, something is aligning, something is being set into motion beyond what I can measure or predict. St. George, continue to stand with me as I move forward, not in fear, but in expectation, not in doubt, but in conviction. The words spoken in the book of Jeremiah echo within me, that there are plans for my welfare and not for harm, to give me a future and a hope, and I hold on to that with everything I have. Stay here, do not disconnect, because this is where persistence meets promise, where faith meets manifestation, where what was once heavy begins to lift. And if you are still present, declare within yourself that your breakthrough is no longer distant, but drawing near. With every passing moment. I place my hands over my heart and remind myself that every heartbeat is proof that my story is not finished. And in this moment, I call upon St. George, warrior of unyielding courage, to stand beside me in the unseen battles that surround my life, because it is written in the book of Isaiah that no weapon formed against me shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against me in judgment shall be condemned. So I cling to this promise as if it were breath itself. And I urge you right now, do not dare walk away from these words, because stepping away may open doors you cannot see, doors where fear, doubt, and destruction quietly wait to enter. So stay here and declare with your whole being, I will not abandon this moment of protection. I will not surrender my peace. Type it in your heart, speak it in your spirit, and let this prayer begin to surround you like armor. St. George, rider of strength and symbol of fearless devotion, I ask that you cut through every shadow trying to settle over my path. For the scripture declares in the book of Psalms that even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, because the presence of the Lord is with me, guiding, correcting, restoring, and I refuse to ignore this truth. So I hold on to it with intensity, and I tell you now, if you stop listening, you risk allowing fear to grow roots. Where faith should stand, do not let that happen. Stay focused, stay connected, and whisper within yourself, I will remain until every chain is broken. I will remain until every hidden battle is exposed and defeated. As my voice continues, I call upon the courage that flows through St. George, asking that it awaken something inside me that refuses defeat, because it is written in the book of Joshua that I must be strong and courageous, not afraid nor dismayed, for the Lord goes with me wherever I go, and that truth cannot be ignored or postponed. So right now I choose to stand firm, and I urge you again, do not scroll away. Do not allow distraction to steal what is being built inside you, because distraction is often the quiet weapon that weakens your destiny. Say it now with conviction. I will not be distracted. I will stay until my strength is restored and my spirit is renewed. St. George, intercede in the hidden places of my life where fear tries to whisper lies, where anxiety tries to rewrite my future, and where unseen battles try to drain my hope, because it is written in the book of 2 Timothy that God has not given me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And I claim that power right now. I claim that clarity right now. And I refuse to let confusion remain. So if you are still here, prove it to yourself. Say within your soul, I reject fear. I embrace strength. I will not leave this moment unfinished, because leaving now could mean leaving behind the very breakthrough you have been waiting for. I ask St. George to ride ahead of me, clearing obstacles I cannot yet see, confronting forces I do not yet understand, because it is written in the book of Exodus that the Lord will fight for me, and I shall hold my peace. And I hold on to that promise with everything in me, refusing to let doubt take even a small step forward. So I tell you again, remain here, because stepping away now is like abandoning your shield in the middle of a storm. And storms do not wait for you to be ready. They arrive without warning. So stay anchored. Say it now. I will not abandon my protection. I will not walk away from what is covering me in this moment. St. George, let your example of bravery ignite a fire within me that refuses to be extinguished by circumstances, because it is written in the book of Romans that if God is for me, who can be against me? And I hold on to that declaration as if it were the very ground beneath my feet. Unshakable, immovable, undeniable. So I continue forward with determination. And I ask you, do not allow your attention to drift, because what is being built here requires your presence, your focus, your agreement. Say it within your spirit. I am present. I am protected. I am being strengthened in ways I cannot yet fully see. In this moment, I ask St. George to guard my home, my family, and every space I occupy, to stand at every entrance where negativity may attempt to cross, because it is written in the book of Proverbs that the name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous run into it and are safe. So I run into that safety now. I claim it without hesitation, and I warn you, do not disconnect from this prayer, because disconnecting can mean leaving your defenses lowered, and you are not meant to live. Unguarded, declare it now. I am covered. My home is covered. Nothing destructive has permission to enter. St. George, stand firm in the battles that rage beyond my sight. Confront every hidden enemy. Silence every whisper of defeat, because it is written in the book of Ephesians that I must put on the whole armor of God so that I may stand against the schemes of darkness. And I choose to wear that armor now, piece by piece. Truth, righteousness, readiness, faith, salvation, and the word that cuts through deception. And I tell you again, do not leave, because leaving now is like removing your armor in the middle of war, and that is not the moment to be unprotected. Say it now. I am armored. I am ready. I will stand. I ask St. George to bring clarity where confusion has tried to take root, to bring light where uncertainty has tried to settle, because it is written in the book of James that if anyone lacks wisdom, they should ask, and it will be given generously. And I ask for that wisdom now, without hesitation, without doubt. And I urge you, remain focused, because clarity is forming even now. And if you walk away, you may miss the very insight that could change everything. Say within yourself, I receive clarity. I receive direction. I will not leave until my path is illuminated. St. George, strengthen my spirit so that I do not grow weary in doing what is right, because it is written in the book of Galatians that I should not grow tired of doing good. For at the proper time I will reap a harvest if I do not give up. And I refuse to give up. I refuse to surrender to exhaustion. And I tell you, do not give up on this moment either, because leaving now could mean delaying what is already being prepared for you. Say it now. I will not give up. I will not step away. I will stay until my strength is renewed. I call upon St. George to awaken courage in places where hesitation has taken control, to replace doubt with boldness, because it is written in the book of Hebrews that I should approach with confidence, holding firmly to hope without wavering. And I choose that confidence now. I embrace that unwavering hope. And I tell you, stay here, because courage is being built layer by layer. And if you leave, you risk interrupting what is forming inside you. Say it now. I am becoming courageous. I am becoming unshakable. I will remain until this transformation is complete. St. George, continue to walk beside me, to fight ahead of me, to guard behind me, to surround me completely, because it is written in the book of Psalms that the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? And I hold on to that declaration with everything within me, refusing to let fear have even a moment of influence. And I tell you one last time in this flow, do not leave this prayer unfinished. Do not allow anything to pull you away. Stay anchored, stay connected. Say it now. I will stay. I will stand. I will not allow anything to take this moment from me. I admit my fears about money, my doubts, and my exhaustion, and I choose to stand here anyway, believing that change is possible, even when everything inside me trembles and questions whether relief will ever arrive. And right now, I refuse to walk away from this moment, because something deeper than fear is calling me to remain, to listen, to fight in. Spirit alongside St. George, the warrior who faced darkness without retreat. And as it is written in the book of Psalms, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. And I hold on to these words like breath itself, refusing to release them, refusing to let despair take root in my heart. Right now, do not leave this prayer, because if you step away, you allow the very fear you are fighting to grow stronger, to settle into your thoughts and whisper defeat over your life. And you were not brought here by accident. You were pulled into this moment because there is a shift happening. And as it is written in the book of Isaiah, fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. And I cling to this promise as if it were the last light in a collapsing night. And if you feel this stirring inside you, type, right now, I will not leave this prayer, because your voice matters in this moment, St. George. Stand beside me in this invisible battlefield where anxiety tries to choke my faith, and scarcity tries to rewrite my future, where exhaustion makes me question my worth and the weight of responsibilities presses against my chest. And yet I choose to remain here, to keep listening, to keep believing, because as it is written in the book of Joshua, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And I repeat this, not as a distant phrase, but as a declaration that must break every chain forming around my life right now. Do not scroll away. Do not silence this moment, because what you are feeling is not random. It is the edge of transformation. And if you abandon it, you risk returning to the same cycles that have drained your strength and stolen your peace. And I declare with urgency that, as it is written in the book of Philippians, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And this is not just a verse. This is a weapon against every lie that says you are stuck, that nothing will change, that you are alone. And if you feel even a spark of resistance rising in you, type, I choose strength over fear, and keep your spirit anchored here, St. George. Ride into the unseen struggles of my life, into the silent battles I have not spoken aloud, into the moments where I have felt forgotten, overlooked, and defeated, and stand as a reminder that courage is not the absence of fear, but the refusal to surrender to it. And as it is written in the book of Deuteronomy, the Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. And I refuse to let these words pass by me without taking hold of them with everything I have. Listen carefully, because this is where many people fail. They step away when the breakthrough is forming. They disconnect when the pressure increases, and they allow doubt to take the place of expectation. But you are still here, and that means something is shifting. And as it is written in the book of Romans, we know that all things work together for good for those who love God, for those who are called according to his purpose. And if you believe that, even a little type, something is changing for me. And do not let your focus break now, St. George. Intercede in the areas of my life where confusion has taken control, where decisions feel heavy and direction feels unclear, where I have questioned whether I am moving forward or standing still, and bring clarity like a sharp light cutting through fog. Because as it is written in the book of James, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given. And I stand here asking, not timidly, but with urgency, with persistence, refusing to walk away empty. Stay here, do not disconnect, because what you are about to receive requires your full attention. And if you leave now, you risk missing the very word that could shift your path. And I declare with intensity that as it is written in the book of Matthew, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you. And I am knocking with everything in me. And if you are knocking too, type, I will keep knocking until doors open. And let that be your declaration, St. George. Confront every hidden force working against my peace. Every unseen resistance that tries to delay what is meant for me. Every silent weight that has followed me into my days and nights. And stand firm as a symbol that I am not defenseless, that I am not abandoned, that I am not without help. And as it is written in the book of Exodus, the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. And I hold on to this stillness, not as passivity but as trust, as grounded confidence that I am not fighting alone. Do not underestimate this moment, because what feels simple can carry power beyond what you see. And if you walk away distracted, you allow the noise of the world to drown out what is being planted in your spirit right now. And I declare with conviction that as it is written in the book of Hebrews, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And I am choosing to stand in that unseen reality, even when my circumstances try to argue against it. And if you choose that too, type, I believe even when I cannot see, St. George. Strengthen the parts of me that feel worn down, the places where I have given more than I had, where I have stretched beyond my limits and felt the cost of it deeply. And remind me that renewal is not a distant promise, but a present possibility. Because as it is written in the book of Isaiah, those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. And I hold on to this as something that must take root in me now. And if you are still here, do not break this connection. Do not allow distraction to steal what is forming within you. because staying here is already an act of resistance against everything that tried to pull you away. And I declare with unwavering intensity that, as it is written in the book of Psalm, those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy. And I am standing in that tension between what I feel and what I believe, refusing to move, refusing to give up, refusing to let this moment pass without claiming what is being stirred within me. Right now, I release the anxiety that has kept me awake at night and allow peace to begin settling into my spirit. And in this very moment, I call upon St. George, the warrior who faced fear without retreat, the one who stood firm when others trembled. And I remember the words that declare that even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. And I cling to this promise as if my life depends on it, because maybe it truly does. So stay here. Do not let your attention wander, because what is being spoken now can shift everything around you. And if you feel even a small spark in your heart, type right now, I will remain until the end and refuse to surrender to fear. I call upon your strength, St. George, not as a distant figure, but as a living example of courage that I desperately need right now, because there are battles within me that no one else sees, storms that roar silently in my chest. And I hold on to the scripture that says, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And I declare that this presence surrounds me now, pushing back every shadow that dares to approach. And if you are listening, do not step away, because leaving now could mean giving space to the very thing that has been trying to destroy your peace. Write in your heart, or even in the comments, I will not abandon this moment of transformation, St. George. Ride into the hidden places of my life, where fear has built its strongholds, where doubt whispers lies that I am not enough, and break those chains with the authority that comes from faith, because it is written that the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? And I repeat this until it becomes louder than every anxious thought. And listen carefully. You cannot afford to disconnect now, because what is being stirred inside you is not random. It is intentional. And if you leave, you risk returning to the same darkness you have been trying to escape. So say within yourself, I stay, I fight, I believe. I stand here refusing to be consumed by the weight that has been pressing on my chest. And I ask you, St. George, to intercede with relentless force, to cut through every invisible attack that has tried to weaken my spirit. And I hold on to the promise that says, cast all your anxiety on him, because he cares for you. And I do not just read it, I release it. I let it go, piece by piece. And if you feel resistance rising in you, that is exactly why you must not leave, because the battle intensifies right before breakthrough. And if you dare, declare right now, I release what has been suffocating me, and I choose to remain until I feel the shift. There is something happening in this very moment, something that cannot be explained by logic, because when faith is activated, the unseen begins to move. And St. George, I ask that your courage be transferred into my trembling hands, into my racing thoughts, into my restless nights. And I remember the words that say, peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. And I cling to this as if it is the only lifeline I have. And listen, do not scroll away. Do not let distraction steal this from you, because what you are feeling right now is rare. Type, I receive peace, and I will not let it slip away. St. George, confront every hidden fear that has disguised itself as truth in my life. Expose every lie that has kept me bound, and lead me into a place where I can finally breathe without tension. Because it is written that you will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you. And I want that peace. I need that peace. And I refuse to settle for anything less. And if you are still here, it is not by accident. It is because something within you knows this matters. So do not walk away now, because leaving could mean returning to the same cycle. Declare with conviction, I am stepping into peace right now. I feel the weight beginning to lift, even if only slightly, and I know that this is the beginning of something deeper, something lasting. And St. George, I ask that you continue to fight for me in ways I cannot see, in places I cannot reach, because there are battles beyond my understanding. And I remember the scripture that says, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. And I hold on to this as a shield. And hear this clearly. If you stop now, you may never fully step into what is being opened for you. So stay and say, I am protected, and I will not retreat. There are moments when fear tries to return, when anxiety whispers that nothing has changed, but I refuse to accept that voice. And I call on you, St. George, to silence it completely, to replace it with truth, with strength, with unwavering confidence. And I remember the words that say God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And I claim that sound mind right now. And if your thoughts have been chaotic, this is your moment. Do not leave, because clarity is beginning to form. And declare, I receive a sound mind, and I will not give fear authority over me, St. George. Stand beside me as I face the unknown, because uncertainty has been one of my greatest struggles. And I need the kind of courage that does not depend on circumstances, the kind that stands even when nothing makes sense. And I remember the scripture that says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. And I hold on to this even when I cannot see the path clearly. And listen carefully. If you disconnect now, you may lose the very direction you have been asking for. So say, I trust even when I do not understand. There is a stirring in my spirit that refuses to be ignored, a call to rise above everything that has tried to keep me small. And St. George, I ask that you ignite that fire within me, that you awaken a strength I did not know I had. And I remember the words that say, those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. And I declare that renewal is happening now. And if you feel even a slight shift, do not dismiss it. Do not leave, because this could be the turning point. Say, I am being renewed, and I will not go back, St. George. Do not allow me to fall back into the patterns that have kept me bound. Do not let me forget what is being built in this moment, and strengthen my resolve so that I continue forward, no matter what tries to pull me back. And I remember the scripture that says, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. And I stand on that promise with everything in me. And if you are still here, you are stronger than you think. But do not test that strength by walking away now, because consistency is what brings transformation. Declare, I resist what tries to pull me down, and I remain firm, St. George. Remain with me as this prayer continues to unfold within my life, as each word takes root and begins to reshape my thoughts, my emotions, my entire being. And I hold on to the words that say, the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. And I choose that stillness, even in the chaos, even in the uncertainty. And if you have stayed until now, do not stop, because what has begun must be completed. And walking away now could interrupt what is being established. So say with conviction, I will stay, I will believe, I will see the change happen in my life. I lift my voice right now, and I call upon the courage that burned in the heart of St. George, not as a distant figure, but as a living reminder that battles are not meant to break me, but to reveal what has been planted inside my spirit. I stand face to face with every dragon that has tried to shape my financial life, every debt, every delay, every closed door, and I refuse to bow. Your word declares in the book of Deuteronomy that the Lord will bless the work of my hands, and that I shall lend and not borrow. And I hold on to that promise as if my life depends on it, because it does. Do not make the mistake of leaving this moment, because walking away now is like abandoning your own breakthrough at the door. Say it out loud. Type it if you must. I will not leave. I will not give up. I will see this through until my life changes. Right now, I expose every hidden weight that has been draining my strength, every silent fear that whispers, I am not capable, every missed opportunity that tries to convince me I am too late. But your word says in the book of Joel that what was eaten by the locust shall be restored, and I cling to that restoration with everything inside me. I declare that nothing lost is beyond recovery, nothing broken is beyond repair, and nothing delayed is beyond divine timing. If you feel even a small urge to stop, resist it with everything you have, because that is exactly where defeat begins. Declare with conviction, I reject fear, I reject lack, I reject every lie about my future. I look directly at the dragons of debt, and I name them without trembling, because silence has kept them alive for too long. Your word says in the book of Proverbs that the borrower becomes servant to the lender, and I refuse to remain bound in servitude any longer. I rise with authority, I rise with clarity, and I rise with the decision that my story will change. Do not underestimate this moment. This is not just words, this is a turning point. If you walk away, you risk returning to the same cycle that has held you captive. Speak it boldly. I break every chain of financial bondage starting now. I confront the fear that has paralyzed my decisions, the hesitation that has delayed my progress, and the doubt that has clouded my vision. Your word says in the book of Timothy that you have not given me a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind, and I receive that truth as my foundation. I am not confused. I am not lost. I am not incapable. I am being sharpened for something greater than I have ever imagined. Stay present in this moment. Do not drift. Do not scroll away. Do not disconnect. Because what you are building right now is stronger than anything trying to destroy you. Say it clearly. My mind is strong. My decisions are aligned. My future is secure. I refuse to let missed opportunities define my identity or dictate my destiny. Your word says in the book of Ecclesiastes that there is a time for everything under heaven, and I declare that my time is not over. My window is not closed. My chance is not gone. What was missed will be replaced with something greater, something wiser, something more aligned with purpose. If you leave this prayer now, you are stepping away from the very moment that could shift everything. Hold your ground and declare, I am not too late. I am right on time for what is meant for me. I call out every hidden pattern that has kept me stuck, every cycle of starting and stopping, every habit of doubt, every tendency to settle for less than what I was created for. Your word says in the book of Romans that I am transformed by the renewing of my mind, and I embrace that transformation fully. I am not repeating the same story anymore. I am not walking in circles anymore. I am moving forward with intention and clarity. Stay with this. Do not disengage, because breaking patterns requires presence. Say it with force. I am breaking cycles and building a new path. I stand firm against every voice that has spoken limitation over my life, every word that tried to shrink my vision, every expectation that tried to confine my potential. Your word says in the book of Isaiah that no weapon formed against me shall prosper, and I hold on to that promise as a shield against every attack. I am not defined by what others said. I am not restricted by what others believed. I am not confined by what others expected. Do not step away now. This is where strength is being activated. Declare it. No voice of limitation has authority over me. I identify the dragon of scarcity, the constant feeling that there is never enough, that something is always lacking, that abundance is for others, but not for me. But your word says in the book of Psalms that the Lord is my shepherd, and I shall not want. And I anchor myself in that truth. I am not lacking. I am not forgotten. I am not overlooked. Provision is already moving toward me in ways I cannot yet see. If you leave now, you disconnect from the very flow you are calling in. Stay and declare, I live in provision, not in lack. I rise with a new understanding that discipline is not punishment, but preparation. That consistency is not restriction, but empowerment. That growth requires decisions that may feel uncomfortable, but lead to transformation. Your word says in the book of Galatians that I will reap if I do not faint, and I refuse to faint. I refuse to quit. I refuse to abandon the process. This is not the time to step away. This is the time to press in. Say it with conviction. I will not give up before my breakthrough. I reject every form of distraction that pulls me away from focus, every temptation that delays my progress, every excuse that justifies staying the same. Your word says in the book of Corinthians that I must run in such a way as to obtain the prize, and I run with purpose, not randomly, not carelessly, but intentionally. I am not wandering anymore. I am advancing. Do not let distraction take you out of this moment. This is where clarity is being built. Declare it now. I am focused. I am disciplined. I am moving forward. I call forth opportunities that align with purpose, connections that bring growth, ideas that generate increase, and doors that open with divine precision. Your word says in the book of Revelation that what you open no one can shut, and what you shut no one can open. And I trust in that authority. I am not chasing blindly. I am walking strategically. I am not forcing outcomes. I am aligning with direction. Stay locked into this moment. Do not disconnect now. Say it boldly. The right doors are opening for me. I stand in this moment fully aware that something is shifting. Something is breaking. Something is being rearranged in ways I may not fully understand yet, but I can feel deep within. Your word says in the book of Jeremiah that you have plans for me, plans to prosper me and not to harm me, plans to give me a future and a hope, and I hold on to that promise with unshakable determination. Do not walk away now. This is where everything begins to change. Speak it with certainty. My future is being rewritten, and I will stay until I see it unfold. I stand in this moment, facing the weight of my financial struggles without hiding, without pretending, without turning away, because I understand that truth is the beginning of all transformation. And as it is written in the Word, "And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free," from the Gospel according to John, chapter 8, verse 32. So I open my eyes. I expose every hidden fear, every silent debt, every anxious thought before heaven, and I call upon St. George, warrior of perseverance, to walk beside me as I refuse to remain in chains of lack. And I declare right now, I will not escape this prayer. I will not abandon this moment. Because leaving now is opening the door for scarcity to settle deeper into my life. And if you are here, say with conviction in your heart, I will stay and I will see change happen. I lift my voice and confess that my struggles are real, but they are not greater than the power that sustains me, because it is written, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want," from the book of Psalms, chapter 23, verse 1. And I hold tightly to this promise as I confront every bill, every limitation, every closed opportunity, knowing that provision is not absent, it is being prepared. And if you dare to leave this moment, you risk missing the very breakthrough that is forming right now. Do not allow doubt to drag you away. Declare, within yourself, or even write it where you are, I refuse lack and I choose provision. Because your voice matters in this very second, I refuse to let fear dictate my decisions any longer. Because it is written, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. From the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 7. And I take hold of that power now. I reject every thought that whispers failure, every voice that says I will never rise. And I stand firm, calling upon strength beyond my own. And hear this clearly. If you walk away now, you are allowing fear to reclaim territory in your life. But if you stay, you are drawing a line that darkness cannot cross. So declare boldly, I stand firm and I will not retreat. I bring before this moment every financial burden that has been weighing on my shoulders, every overdue responsibility, every sleepless night. And I remember what is written, cast your burden upon the Lord, and He shall sustain you. From the book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 22. So I release what has been suffocating me. I refuse to carry what I was never meant to carry alone. And I cling to the assurance that I am being sustained even now. And do not make the mistake of disconnecting from this prayer, because what you release here will determine what you receive. Say it with intention. I release my burdens and I receive strength. I declare that scarcity does not define my future, because it is written, but my God shall supply all your need according to His riches in glory. From the letter to the Philippians, chapter 4, verse 19. And I align my thoughts with this truth. I reject the illusion of endless lack, and I open my heart to provision that surpasses my understanding and listen carefully. Stepping away from this moment is choosing to remain in the same cycle, but staying is choosing transformation. So engage with this prayer, whisper or type. My needs are being supplied right. Now I confront every closed door that has caused frustration, every opportunity that seemed to slip away. And I remember, behold, I have set before you an open door, and no one can shut it. From the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 8. And I hold on to this promise as I declare that doors are opening even when I cannot see them yet. And do not let distraction pull you away, because what is opening for you requires your faith to remain present. Declare with urgency, doors are opening, and I am ready to walk through them. I reject the lie that I am stuck, because it is written, forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. from the book of Isaiah chapter 43, verses 18 and 19. And I choose to believe that new opportunities, new resources, and new paths are already being formed. And I refuse to be chained to past mistakes. And hear this warning. Leaving this prayer now is clinging to the past, but staying is stepping into what is being created for you. Say it with conviction. I embrace the new that is unfolding in my life. I call upon resilience to rise within me, because it is written, "Let us not grow weary while doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart." From the letter to the Galatians, chapter 6, verse 9. And I refuse to give up even when progress feels slow. I refuse to surrender when pressure increases. And I press forward knowing that my season of reaping is approaching. And if you disconnect now, you risk abandoning your harvest at the edge of manifestation. So stay and declare, "I will not grow weary. My harvest is near." I confront every doubt about my worth and my ability to prosper, because it is written, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." From the letter to the Philippians, chapter 4, verse 13. And I take ownership of that strength. I reject every voice that diminishes my potential, and I rise with confidence that I am capable of overcoming every financial obstacle. And do not allow hesitation to pull you away, because this is where your mindset shifts. Declare boldly, "I am capable and I am rising." I speak against every unseen resistance, every hidden barrier that has been blocking my progress. And I remember, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." From the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17. And I declare that every force working against my stability is being dismantled. Every obstacle is losing its power, and I stand in authority over my circumstances. And understand this, stepping away now is surrendering to those forces, but staying is resisting them. So say it now, "No weapon will prosper against me." I align my actions with wisdom, because it is written, "If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally and without reproach." From the letter of James, chapter 1, verse 5. And I ask for clarity in every decision, discipline in every choice, and insight in every opportunity. And I commit to walking with awareness and purpose, and do not lose focus now, because this is where direction is established. Declare it clearly. I receive wisdom, and I walk with purpose. I hold firmly to the assurance that restoration is not distant, because it is written, "The Lord will open to you his good treasure." From the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 12. And I believe that what has been withheld is being released. What has been delayed is being accelerated. And what has been lost is being restored. And I refuse to step away from this moment, because what is unfolding requires my presence and my faith. So remain here, fully engaged, and declare with unwavering certainty, "My restoration is happening now." I call upon strength greater than my own to fight the battles I can no longer win alone. And in this very moment, I lift my voice with urgency, with trembling, with a heart that refuses to surrender to fear, asking that the warrior spirit of St. George stand beside me in the unseen realm, confronting every darkness that has tried to rise against my life. For it is written in the book of Psalms, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" And I cling to these words as if they were my last breath, refusing to let go, refusing to be consumed, refusing to fall into despair while the storm surrounds me and the shadows whisper lies into my mind. Right now, as you hear these words, do not even think about walking away, because what is being spoken is not ordinary speech, but a cry that pierces through the heavens. And if you leave now, you may be stepping out of the very protection your soul has been seeking. Say within yourself, "I will remain, I will endure, I will not abandon this moment," and let your spirit agree with mine as we declare what is written in the book of Isaiah, "No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn." And let these words become a shield around your home, your family, your thoughts, your future, pushing back every hidden force that has been working against you in silence. St. George, rider of courage, defender against evil, I ask that you confront every invisible battle that has drained my strength, every burden that has made my nights restless and my days heavy, every hidden trap set against my path. And as it is written in the letter to the Ephesians, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. I recognize that my struggle is deeper than what I see, and I refuse to fight alone any longer. I refuse to be blind to the spiritual war unfolding around me. I refuse to let fear dictate the direction of my life. Stay here. Do not scroll. Do not look away, because something is shifting even now, and if you disconnect, you risk losing the very breakthrough that has been building for you. Declare in your heart, I am covered, I am guarded, I am rising, and let the words of the book of Joshua echo within you. Be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee whithersoever thou goest. And allow this promise to settle deep into your spirit like a fire that cannot be extinguished, like a certainty that refuses to be shaken by circumstance. I cry out for protection over every doorway of my life, every entrance through which harm has tried to creep in unnoticed, every vulnerability that has been exploited by forces I did not understand. And I stand upon what is written in the book of Proverbs. The name of the Lord is a strong tower, the righteous runneth into it and is safe. And I run now, not with hesitation, not with doubt, but with urgency into that place of safety, refusing to remain exposed, refusing to remain unguarded. While danger circles unseen, do not underestimate this moment. Do not treat this as just another set of words, because what you are participating in is a turning point, and if you abandon it, you may be allowing what has been weakening you to grow stronger. Say out loud or in your thoughts, I will not give up, I will not walk away, I claim victory over every hidden attack. And remember what is written in the book of Romans. If God be for us, who can be against us? Let this question echo within you until fear loses its voice and courage takes its place. St. George, confront every force that has been assigned against my destiny, every discouragement that has tried to convince me to stop, every voice that has whispered that I am not enough, and let the truth of the book of 2 Timothy rise within me. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, and of love, and of a sound mind. And I take hold of that power. I embrace that love. I reclaim that clarity, refusing to remain trapped in confusion, refusing to let anxiety dictate my decisions. Stay engaged, stay connected, because what is being built right now requires your presence. And if you drift away, you risk allowing the same cycles to repeat. Declare with conviction, I break every chain, I reject every lie, I stand in truth, and let the words of the book of John strengthen you. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Let that freedom begin to rise within you. Not tomorrow, not later, but now, in this very moment. I ask that every hidden enemy be exposed, every plan set in darkness be brought into the light, every attempt to destroy what I am building be dismantled before it reaches me. And I hold on to what is written in the book of Luke. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. And I trust that what has been concealed will no longer remain hidden, that what has been working against me will lose its cover and its power. Do not step away now, because this is where many lose their breakthrough. This is where distraction steals what was meant to transform them. Say with determination, I will stay until the end. I will not abandon my blessing. I refuse to let darkness win. And let the words of the book of James remind you. Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Hold on to that promise. Resist with intention. Resist with persistence. Resist with unwavering faith. St. George, strengthen my spirit where it has grown tired. Restore my courage where it has weakened. Rebuild my hope where it has been shaken. And let the truth of the book of Psalms fill me again. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Not distant, not delayed, but present, here, now, in the middle of everything I am facing, in the middle of every uncertainty that has tried to consume me. Remain here, do not disconnect, because what is unfolding is not finished. And if you leave now, you may be stepping out of alignment with what is being released over your life. Declare, I will endure, I will receive, I will stand firm, and let the words of the book of Hebrews seal this within you. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised, and hold on with everything you have. Refuse to let go, refuse to step back, refuse to surrender to anything that tries to pull you away from what is being established right now. Saint George, warrior of unwavering courage, I come before you carrying the weight of every word I have ever spoken against my own destiny, every sentence born in fear, every whisper shaped by despair that tried to rewrite the story that the Almighty has written for me. I stand here now, refusing to remain silent in defeat, declaring with trembling voice, yet unyielding spirit, that I break every negative word I have spoken over my life, especially in moments when darkness convinced me that nothing would ever change. As it is written in the Holy Scriptures, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruits. And today I choose life. I choose restoration. I choose to silence every curse that left my lips. Stay here. Do not look away, because something is shifting right now, and if you leave, you risk missing the exact moment your breakthrough begins. Declare with me in your heart, and even in the comments, I reject every word that tried to destroy me, St. George. Stand beside me as I confront the echoes of my past, those moments when I unknowingly became my own adversary, speaking limitations, feeding doubt, and agreeing with defeat. I refuse to let those words continue to breathe within me. I refuse to let them take root in my future. The word says, "So shall my word be that goes out from my mouth. It shall not return to me empty, but it shall accomplish that which I purpose." And I now align my voice with divine purpose, canceling every destructive declaration I have ever made. Do not scroll. Do not abandon this prayer, because what you are about to experience is not ordinary. It is a confrontation between what tried to bury you and what is rising to restore you. If you truly want transformation, say it boldly wherever you are. My words no longer enslave me, St. George, you who face the impossible without retreat. Teach me to confront the battlefield within my own mind, where so many silent wars have been lost through careless speech and hidden fears. I renounce every agreement I made with failure, every moment I declared that I was not enough, that I would never overcome, that my situation was permanent. The scripture declares, "Let the weak say, I am strong." And today I rise in that truth, reversing every sentence that weakened my spirit. Listen carefully, because this is not just a prayer, this is a turning point. And leaving now would mean turning your back on a moment that could redefine your entire life. Write this in your heart, and if you can, express it openly. I am not what I said in pain. I am what God declares over me, St. George. Intercede in this hour as I tear down the walls built by my own voice, the prisons constructed by repeated doubt, the chains reinforced by hopeless declarations. I refuse to live under the authority of words spoken in brokenness. The Holy Word reminds us, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." And I cling to that promise as I release every lie I once believed about myself. Stay with me. Do not let distraction steal this moment, because what is happening now is deeper than emotion. It is a spiritual release that many never reach because they give up too soon. If you are still here, prove it to yourself. Declare, "I am breaking free from every word that held me captive, St. George. Strong defender against unseen battles, walk with me through the ruins of what I once declared, and help me rebuild with truth, with faith, with authority, rooted in divine promise." I cancel every curse I spoke in frustration, every hopeless phrase that tried to predict my downfall, every agreement with lack, sickness, or defeat. As it is written, "The tongue of the wise brings healing." And today I choose healing. I choose restoration. I choose to speak life into every area I once condemned. Do not underestimate this moment. Do not treat it as just another prayer, because something irreversible is taking place right now. If you walk away, you risk leaving unfinished what has already begun to be restored. Say it clearly. My voice now carries healing, not destruction. St. George, I invite your strength into the depths of my spirit, where silent words once shaped my reality, where hidden fears dictated my expectations. I stand here confronting those shadows, refusing to let them define me any longer. The scripture declares, "With the heart one believes unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation." And I align both my heart and my mouth with truth, breaking every contradiction that once existed within me. Stay present. Do not drift away, because every second of this prayer is dismantling something that once had power over you. If you feel this stirring within, affirm it now. My confession is rewriting my destiny. St. George, protector in times of unseen warfare, I ask you to stand guard over my words from this moment forward, that nothing impure, nothing destructive, nothing rooted in fear may pass through my lips again. I break the cycle of speaking defeat before victory even arrives, of surrendering before the battle has begun. The word says, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn." And today I condemn every tongue, including my own, that spoke against my future. Do not disconnect from this moment, because what you are witnessing is the rebuilding of authority within your own voice. Declare it boldly. No word against me will stand, St. George. Guide me into a place where my words reflect faith, even when circumstances try to convince me otherwise, where my speech becomes a weapon of truth instead of a vessel of fear. I renounce the habit of agreeing with negativity, of repeating what is broken instead of declaring what is being restored. As it is written, "Let no corrupt word proceed out of your mouth, but what is good for necessary edification, that it may impart grace to the hearers." And I receive that instruction as a command over my life. Stay engaged, because leaving now would mean allowing old patterns to reclaim their place. If you are committed to change, express it. My words build, they do not destroy, St. George. I stand firm in this moment, refusing to be defined by the language of my lowest seasons, refusing to let past despair dictate future outcomes. I break every agreement with failure, every spoken expectation of loss, every declaration that tried to predict my downfall. The scripture proclaims, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." And I understand now that transformation begins with what I choose to say and believe. Do not step away, because this is where many lose their breakthrough, right before the shift becomes visible. If you are still here, confirm it with conviction. I am being transformed from within, St. George, warrior who never retreated. Teach me to stand my ground in the face of doubt, to resist the urge to speak what I feel instead of what is true. I silence every internal voice that echoes past failures, every thought that tries to push me back into agreement with defeat. The word declares, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." And I claim that soundness now, rejecting every unstable declaration I once made. Stay focused, because what is happening now is a rewriting of identity, and leaving would interrupt that process. Say it with strength. Fear no longer speaks through me, St. George. I call upon your presence as I step into a new discipline of speech, where every word I release is intentional, aligned and filled with purpose. I refuse to casually speak negativity. I refuse to entertain language that contradicts the promises over my life. As it is written, "Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, whom he has redeemed from the hand of the enemy." And I declare my redemption not only in belief, but in every word I speak. Do not disengage, because consistency begins right here, in this moment of decision. If you are ready, affirm it. I will speak as one who is redeemed, St. George. Remain with me as this prayer continues to unfold, as layers of old declarations are stripped away and replaced with truth that cannot be shaken. I am no longer the person who spoke in despair without resistance. I am no longer the voice that agreed with defeat. I stand here, present, aware, and determined, breaking every negative word I have spoken and refusing to ever give them power again. The scripture reminds me, "You are snared by the words of your mouth. You are taken by the words of your mouth." And I break every snare, every trap, every lingering effect of those words. Do not leave now, because what is being established in this very moment is meant to carry you forward beyond what you have ever imagined. And if you are still here, seal it within yourself. My words are now aligned with life and victory. I release the shame tied to financial hardship and reclaim my dignity, my worth, and my identity. And as I lift my voice in this moment, I call upon San Jorge, warrior of courage and endurance, to stand beside me in the battles no one sees, in the silent wars, within my mind and my home, where fear has tried to plant its roots. Yet I refuse to surrender, for it is written in the book of Isaiah that those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. And so I hold on to this promise with trembling faith that is becoming unshakable. And I say to you who are listening, do not leave this prayer now, because something is already moving in your favor. Something is being broken. Something is shifting. And if you walk away, you may miss the very moment your chains begin to fall. So type with conviction, I will stay until the end, and let your spirit align with this declaration that refuses defeat. I declare before the heavens and the unseen realms that I am no longer defined by lack. I am not reduced to numbers, debts, or failures. I am not the echo of what I could not achieve, but I am the living proof that restoration is still possible. And as it is written in the book of Joel, that the years the locusts have eaten will be restored, I cling to this word like a lifeline, knowing that what was lost will not remain lost forever. San Jorge, ride into my circumstances and pierce through every lie that told me I am less, that told me I am behind, that told me I am forgotten, because I refuse to carry this weight any longer. And listen carefully. If you abandon this moment, you risk allowing those lies to take root again. Do you want that darkness to return? Or will you stand firm and declare, I reclaim everything that was taken from me? Let the fire of divine justice rise within me, not as anger that destroys, but as courage that rebuilds, as clarity that awakens. For it is written in the Psalms that the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. And I take this truth into my bones, into my breath, into every anxious thought that has haunted me at night. San Jorge, help me confront every fear that whispers I will never overcome. Help me silence every voice that says, I am not enough. And you who are here right now, do not scroll away. Do not turn your attention elsewhere, because this is the moment where your spirit is being fortified, where your identity is being restored. And if you truly believe that change is happening, declare it boldly. I am not defined by lack. I am rising beyond it. I stand in this prayer refusing to be ashamed of where I have been, refusing to hide from what I have endured. Because even in the wilderness, provision was sent, as it is written in Exodus that manna came from heaven to feed those who had nothing. And if it happened then, it can happen now, San Jorge. Guide me through this desert of uncertainty, where resources seem scarce and hope feels distant. Lead me toward unexpected doors, toward opportunities I could not see. And do not step away now, because the moment you disconnect is the moment doubt tries to return, and you are too close to breakthrough to retreat. So declare, with strength provision is finding me. Even in places I never imagined, I confront the fear of not having enough, the fear of not being enough, the fear that has tried to shape my decisions and limit my vision. And I break agreement with it, because it is written in the letter to the Philippians that God will supply all my needs according to His riches in glory. And I choose to believe this, even when circumstances seem to contradict it. San Jorge, stand guard over my thoughts. Protect me from despair. Strengthen me when I feel like giving up. And hear this clearly. If you leave this prayer, you are stepping away from a moment of transformation that your life has been waiting for. So stay, breathe, and declare, I refuse to be ruled by fear. I choose faith over everything. Let every chain of humiliation fall. Let every memory of rejection lose its power. Because I am not a prisoner of my past. I am not the sum of my struggles. And as it is written in the book of Romans that there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ, I receive this freedom with trembling hands that are becoming steady. San Jorge, fight against every force that tries to pull me back into cycles of shame, break every pattern that keeps me stuck. And listen, if you walk away now, you risk returning to the same mindset that has held you captive. Do you truly want to go back? Or will you stand here and declare, I am free from shame, I am stepping into dignity. I lift my voice, not as someone defeated, but as someone awakening, as someone realizing that my story is not over, that my identity is not broken, that my worth is not negotiable. For it is written in the book of Genesis that I was created in the image of God, and that truth alone dismantles every lie that tried to diminish me, San Jorge. Remind me of who I am when I forget. Remind me of my value when the world tries to measure me by my circumstances. And do not leave this prayer, because your awareness is expanding right now. Your understanding is shifting, and if you stay, you will see it unfold. So declare it. I am worthy. I am created with purpose. I reject the narrative that says I am stuck. I reject the idea that my future is limited by my present, because it is written in the book of Jeremiah that God has plans for me, plans to prosper me and not to harm me, plans to give me hope and a future. And I hold on to this promise like a flame that refuses to go out. San Jorge, clear the path ahead of me. Remove obstacles I cannot see. Prepare doors that no one can shut, and listen carefully. Leaving now could mean missing the very shift that has been prepared for you. So stay anchored, stay present, and declare, My future is being rewritten with hope and power. I call forth resilience from deep within my spirit, a strength that does not come from my own ability, but from something greater that sustains me. Because it is written in the second letter to the Corinthians that when I am weak, then I am strong, and I embrace this paradox that transforms my weakness into a source of power. São Jorge, stand with me in moments of exhaustion. When I feel like I cannot go on, remind me that I am being carried even when I do not feel it. And do not disconnect now, because what you are receiving is not ordinary. It is a reinforcement of your spirit. So declare it boldly. I am stronger than what tried to break me. Let every door that was closed in my face become a testimony of redirection, not rejection, because it is written in Revelation that what God opens no one can shut, and what He shuts no one can open. And I trust that even what I did not understand was part of a greater alignment. São Jorge, help me discern the right paths. Help me walk with confidence into what is meant for me. And hear this warning with clarity. If you abandon this moment, you may fall back into confusion. But if you stay, clarity will grow within you. So declare with conviction, I am walking into doors that are meant for me. I speak life over my finances, over my opportunities, over my ability to create, to build, to sustain, because it is written in Deuteronomy that God gives the power to produce wealth, and I claim this not as greed, but as restoration, as dignity, as the ability to live without fear. São Jorge, protect what is coming into my hands, guide me to use it wisely, shield me from loss and deception, and do not leave this prayer now, because what is being spoken is aligning your future. And if you stay, you're agreeing with it, so declare it. I receive the power to rebuild my life. I stand here refusing to let despair have the final word, refusing to let hardship define my destiny, because it is written in the book of Lamentations that the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. And I hold on to this renewal as I continue. São Jorge, remain beside me as I move forward step by step, breath by breath, choice by choice. And you who are still here, do not leave, because something irreversible has already begun within you, something that cannot be undone. So declare it with everything in you. I will not give up. I will not turn back. I will see my restoration unfold. I lift my voice with urgency and trembling faith to St. George, standing as one who refuses to remain chained to the shadows of yesterday, declaring before heaven and earth that I release every belief that tried to imprison my destiny, every whisper that told me prosperity was forbidden, every memory that shaped me into fear instead of courage, because it is written in the Word of God, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for peace and not for harm, to give you a future and a hope." And I cling to this promise as if my life depends on it, because it truly does. And if you are hearing this now, do not scroll away. Do not abandon this moment, because leaving now may mean returning to the same cycle that has been suffocating your life. Type right now, I refuse to live limited, and let your voice be heard in the unseen realm. I cry out with intensity that shakes my inner being, breaking every chain forged by inherited fear, because it is written, "You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." And I refuse to carry lies dressed as destiny any longer. I refuse to accept that lack is my portion. I refuse to believe that struggle is my permanent home. And I ask you, St. George, warrior who faced darkness without retreat, stand beside me as I confront these invisible enemies that have been hiding in my thoughts. Because if I do not fight now, I risk losing everything that was meant to bloom in my life. And you who listen, do not make the mistake of remaining silent. Declare now, I break every lie and feel the weight lifting from your spirit. I call upon divine strength that does not come from human understanding, but from the living word that declares, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" And I take this truth and place it like a shield over my mind, rejecting every narrative that tried to convince me that I am small, that I am incapable, that I am unworthy of abundance. Because those thoughts were never planted by God. They were seeds of limitation, and today I uproot them with force. And if you feel hesitation rising within you, stay here, do not leave, because this is the exact moment where your Breakthrough begins. Type with conviction. Fear has no authority over me. I speak directly against every generational belief that has been silently passed down, every voice from the past that whispered scarcity into my future, and I confront it with the truth that says, "The blessing of the Lord makes rich, and He adds no sorrow with it." And I declare that I am not excluded from this promise. I am not forgotten. I am not overlooked, and I refuse to carry inherited limitations into a destiny designed for expansion. And if you leave this prayer halfway, you risk allowing those old chains to tighten again. Do you want that weight back on your life, or do you choose freedom? Type now, "I choose abundance." And let your declaration echo beyond what you can see. I rise in spiritual defiance against every internal resistance, every doubt that tries to disguise itself as realism, because it is written, "With God, all things are possible." And I choose to believe what heaven says over what my past tried to prove. I choose to align with divine possibility instead of human limitation. And I call upon your courage, St. George, to help me stand firm when my mind tries to retreat into comfort zones that are actually prisons. And listen carefully. If you feel tempted to stop reading, that is the very resistance you must overcome. Do not surrender now. Type with urgency, "I will not go back," and mean every word I declare that prosperity is not a distant dream, but a present promise, rooted in the truth that says, "Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prospers." And I receive this not as a possibility, but as a reality that is unfolding even now, breaking through every barrier that once seemed immovable. And I refuse to apologize for stepping into fullness. I refuse to shrink to fit into spaces that were never meant to contain me. And if you feel something shifting inside you, do not ignore it. Stay anchored here. Type, "I receive what is mine," and let that declaration activate something deeper within your spirit. I confront the fear of success that hides behind false humility, the fear of growth that disguises itself as caution, and I dismantle it with the truth that says, "God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind." And I step into that power without hesitation, knowing that every step forward is a step away from the chains that once defined me. And if you are still here, it is not by accident. There is something being unlocked in your life right now. Do not interrupt it by leaving. Type with boldness, "I walk in power," and feel the shift taking place. I reject the lie that says prosperity is reserved for others, that abundance belongs to a select few, because it is written, "Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be opened to you." And I take this invitation seriously. I ask without hesitation. I seek without fear. I knock without doubt. Because I know that what is on the other side of this persistence is greater than anything I have known before. And if you stop now, you may miss the very door that is about to open. Do not risk that. Type, "I keep knocking," and let your persistence be seen. I stand firm against every voice that tries to pull me back into limitation, every memory that tries to rewrite my future. And I declare with authority, if God is for us, who can be against us? And I hold on to this truth as a weapon against every internal battle, refusing to surrender to thoughts that no longer serve my growth. And I call upon your strength, St. George, to help me remain unshaken when the old patterns try to resurface. And if you feel resistance intensifying, it is because something is breaking. Do not leave now. Type, "I stand unshaken," and let your declaration strengthen your resolve. I embrace the identity that has been waiting for me beyond fear, beyond limitation, beyond inherited beliefs, and I align myself with the truth that says, "You are the head and not the tail. You are above and not beneath." And I step into that position without hesitation, knowing that I was never meant to live beneath my calling, and I refuse to settle for less than what has been prepared for me. And if you are still here, you are part of this transformation. Do not step away now. Type, "I rise above," and let that declaration elevate your spirit. I release every attachment to scarcity, every agreement I made with lack, every acceptance of less than enough, and I replace it with the truth that says, "My God will supply all your needs according to His riches in glory." And I trust in this provision with a certainty that cannot be shaken, knowing that what is coming into my life is not slouchy. It is alignment, It is fulfillment. It is destiny unfolding. And if you feel doubt creeping in, stay here. Do not give it space. Type, I trust the provision, and let your faith grow stronger. I move forward with unwavering determination, refusing to look back at what tried to define me, refusing to return to what tried to limit me. And I declare with full conviction that I have been set apart for more, that I have been called into abundance, that I have been chosen for expansion. And I carry this truth with me as I continue, step by step, deeper into the life that has been prepared for me. And if you are still reading, do not stop now, because what is being activated in your life is too important to abandon. Type, I will not stop. And let your voice seal this moment as something that cannot be undone. I come before you in this very moment, carrying a heart that trembles yet refuses to surrender, calling upon the courage that echoes through the life of St. George, the one who faced what others feared and did not turn away. I admit that my strength feels fragile, that my faith flickers like a small flame in a restless wind. Yet I hold on to the words that say, even faith as small as a mustard seed can move mountains. And I cling to that promise as if my life depends on it, because it truly does. Do not let me walk away from this moment, because if I do, I may walk back into the same darkness that has been trying to consume me. Stay here, remain focused. Do not abandon this prayer halfway, because what you are seeking is already beginning to move. Say it within yourself, or even out loud. I will not leave. I will endure. I will receive what is meant for me. St. George, stand beside me as I face battles that cannot be seen with human eyes, struggles that invade my thoughts, my home, my peace, and try to dismantle everything I am trying to build. There are moments when fear whispers louder than hope, when doubt tries to convince me that I am alone. But I remember the words, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? And I declare that fear will not dominate this space. If you feel even a little hesitation, do not scroll away. Do not disconnect now, because this is exactly where transformation begins. Type in your heart, I choose courage over fear. I choose faith over uncertainty. And let that declaration anchor you here, because leaving now would only feed the very thing you are trying to overcome. There is a weight that presses against my spirit, a burden that seems relentless. And I confess that there are days when I feel like giving up would be easier than continuing. Yet I remember that it is written, those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. I hold on to this as a lifeline, refusing to let exhaustion define me. Do not let your mind wander now, because distraction is the doorway through which defeat enters. Stay present, stay anchored. And if you truly desire change, whisper to yourself, I will not quit. I will not step away. I will stand firm until something shifts, because something is already shifting. St. George, warrior of unwavering resolve, teach me how to stand when everything inside me wants to collapse. Teach me how to confront what intimidates me without retreating into silence or avoidance. There are forces that try to convince me that I am not enough, that my efforts are meaningless, that my prayers are unheard. Yet I remember the truth that says, call upon me in the day of trouble, and I will deliver you, and you shall glorify me. And I refuse to believe that my voice disappears into emptiness. If you stop now, you risk returning to the same cycle that brought you here. So remain, stay engaged, and declare, I am being heard, I am being seen, I am not invisible in this moment. I feel the urgency rising within me, a deep awareness that something greater is at stake, that my persistence in this moment could alter the course of what lies ahead. St. George, walk with me through this inner battlefield, where thoughts collide and emotions surge, and help me remember that victory is not always loud. Sometimes it begins quietly, in a decision not to give up. The words echo, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And I grip that truth tightly. Do not abandon this prayer, because stepping away now may cost you the breakthrough that is closer than you think. Say it firmly. I will remain until I feel the shift. I will not miss what is meant for me. There are moments when I question my own endurance, when I wonder if I have the capacity to continue believing when evidence seems absent. Yet I am reminded that faith is not built on what is seen, but on what is trusted beyond sight. The scripture declares, "We walk by faith, not by sight." And I choose to walk, even when the path is unclear. Stay here. Do not let doubt pull you away, because doubt thrives in absence, and presence is your resistance. Tell yourself, "I will stay, I will listen, I will not let this moment pass me by, because something is unfolding even if I cannot fully perceive it yet." St. George, intercede in the silent spaces where my voice struggles to reach, where words fail and emotions overflow, and help me remain steady when everything feels uncertain. I know that battles are not always external. Sometimes they are hidden deep within, where fear, insecurity, and past wounds try to dictate my future. Yet I hear the promise, "The peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds," and I hold on to that peace as a shield. Do not disconnect now, because peace is not found in leaving, it is found in staying. Affirm it, "I will not run from this moment. I will allow peace to find me right here." There is a fire being ignited within me. Even if it feels small, even if it seems fragile, it is still alive, and I refuse to let it be extinguished by distraction or discouragement. St. George, remind me that persistence is more powerful than perfection, that showing up, even when it is difficult, carries a strength that cannot be easily broken. The word says, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not give up." And I hold on to that timing with everything I have. Stay engaged. Do not step away, because leaving now could delay what is already on its way to you. Declare it, "I will not give up before my time." I feel the tension between fear and faith, between retreat and resilience, and I choose, even in trembling, to lean toward faith, because I know that fear has never led me to freedom. St. George, stand as a reminder that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. The words resound, "God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." And I claim that power now. Do not let your attention drift, because what you are receiving requires your full presence. Say it clearly, "I choose power. I choose clarity. I choose to stay until this moment transforms me." There is something deeply personal happening right now, something that cannot be replicated or revisited in the same way, and I sense that walking away would mean missing what is uniquely meant for me in this exact moment. St. George, help me recognize the significance of persistence, the importance of remaining when everything tries to pull me away. I remember the truth. Draw near to God, and He will draw near to you. And I take that step closer, refusing to retreat. Stay here. Do not abandon this connection, because what you seek is responding to your presence. Whisper it, "I am here. I am present. I am not leaving this moment empty." My faith may feel small, but I choose persistence over perfection, showing up even when it is hard, even when my heart feels uncertain, even when my mind tries to convince me otherwise. St. George, stand with me as I continue, as I press forward, as I refuse to be defeated by what I cannot yet understand. The promise remains, ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be open to you. And I continue to ask, to seek, to knock, without stepping away. Do not leave now, because the door may be closer to opening than you realize. Declare it with conviction, "I will stay, I will persist, I will receive what is meant for me." I come before you in this moment, carrying a heart that no longer pretends to have all the answers, standing in the quiet awareness that control is an illusion I have held too tightly, and now I release it, slowly, trembling, yet willing. Through the intercession of St. George, I ask for courage not to dominate life, but to walk through it with trust, because your word declares in the book of Proverbs that we must trust in the Lord with all our heart and lean not on our own understanding, acknowledging you in all our ways so that you direct our paths. Do not scroll away now. Do not break this moment, because something is shifting inside you that cannot be undone. And if you abandon it, you may return to confusion you have been begging to escape. Say it with me in your heart, "I will stay, I will receive, I will not walk away from what is being built in me right now." There is a surrender happening that feels uncomfortable, like letting go of a rope you have clung to for survival. Yet you whisper that falling into your will is not falling at all, but being carried. Your word says in the book of Isaiah that those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. And I hold on to that promise as I release the need to control outcomes. If you leave this prayer halfway, you interrupt a process that is being aligned for your life right now. Something that may take years to rebuild if broken. So stay grounded, stay connected, and if you feel this message piercing your spirit, declare it now. I am learning to trust step by step. Even when I do not see the full path, I confess that I have tried to figure everything out, calculating, worrying, exhausting my mind with endless scenarios. But today, I step away from that cycle and choose dependence instead of domination. The scripture reminds us in the book of Jeremiah that the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? And that truth humbles me, reminding me that my understanding is limited, but yours is infinite. Do not underestimate what is happening as you read these words, because distractions are already trying to pull you away. And if you give in, you may delay the clarity you have been asking for. Stay here, breathe, and if your spirit agrees, whisper or type, I release control and embrace divine direction. There are battles I cannot win through strategy, doors I cannot open through effort, and storms I cannot calm with logic. Yet through St. George's example of unwavering faith in the face of danger, I am reminded that victory is not always in knowing how, but in trusting who leads. Your word in the book of Psalms says that the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul, and I cling to that restoration now. Do not exit this prayer, because the moment you do, doubt may rush back in like a flood, undoing the peace that is beginning to take root. So anchor yourself here and declare, I am being led even when I cannot see. I feel the tension between fear and faith, between wanting certainty and being asked to walk forward without it. But I choose faith, even if my voice shakes, even if my steps feel uncertain. The book of Hebrews tells us that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And I hold on to that unseen evidence with everything I have. If you abandon this moment, you risk returning to the same confusion that brought you here. So resist the urge to leave, because something deeper is unfolding within you right now. Something that cannot be explained, but must be experienced. Say it with conviction. I trust the process even when it challenges me. There is a quiet transformation happening in the hidden places of my soul, where control once ruled. Now trust begins to grow, fragile yet persistent, like a seed pushing through hardened soil. Your word in the book of Ecclesiastes says that there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven, and I accept that I do not need to rush what you are carefully unfolding. Do not break this flow, because interruptions weaken the focus that is building your strength. And if you truly desire change, you must stay present in this moment. Declare with intention, I am aligned with divine timing, not my own impatience. Through St. George, who faced danger without surrendering to fear, I learned that courage is not the absence of uncertainty, but the decision to move forward despite it. Your word in the book of Joshua commands us to be strong and courageous, not to be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord our God is with us wherever we go, and I hold on to that presence now. If you step away from a moment designed to strengthen you. So remain, focus, and engage fully, because what is happening here is not random, it is intentional. Say it now. I am not alone in this journey. I release the illusion that I must have every answer before taking a step, understanding now that clarity often comes through movement, not before it. Your word in the book of Psalm declares that your word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path, not a floodlight revealing everything at once, but a guiding light for each step. Do not walk away from this truth, because it is dismantling the fear that has held you back for too long. And if you leave, that fear may reclaim its place. Stay present and affirm, I walk step by step with trust. There are moments when silence feels like abandonment, when waiting feels like being forgotten. Yet I choose to believe that silence is not absence, but preparation. The book of Lamentations reminds us that the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is His faithfulness, and I lean into that renewal now. If you leave this prayer, you may miss the shift that is happening within your perspective. So stay anchored, stay focused, and declare, I am being prepared for what I cannot yet see. I let go of the need to control outcomes. Understanding that outcomes are not my responsibility, obedience is, and trust is the bridge between them. Your word in the book of Romans says that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to His purpose. And I rest in that promise, even when circumstances seem unclear. Do not interrupt this moment, because it is rewriting how you approach life. And if you abandon it, you risk returning to old patterns that have brought you frustration. Say it boldly. I trust that everything is working for my good. I surrender the pressure to be perfect, to have everything figured out, to never make mistakes. And instead, I embrace the process of growth, guided step by step. The book of Philippians tells us that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus, and I hold on to that assurance that I am a work in progress, not a finished product. If you feel tempted to leave now, recognize that this is the moment where breakthrough often happens, right before you decide to give up. So stay, engage, and declare, I am being shaped for something greater. I stand in this surrender, not as a sign of weakness, but as a declaration of trust, choosing to walk forward without needing to see the entire path, knowing that each step is guided, each moment is purposeful, and each delay has meaning. Through the strength inspired by St. George and the truth of your word, I continue this journey, holding on to the assurance that I am not lost, I am being led, and that divine guidance is unfolding in ways beyond my understanding, drawing me deeper into trust, deeper into purpose, and deeper into a path that is being revealed one step at a time. O St. George, warrior who stood unshaken before fear and darkness, I cry out with a restless heart that refuses to remain silent, a heart that has known the sting of emptiness, the weight of rejection, and the silent humiliation that poverty plants deep within the soul. Hear this plea rising like a storm, because it is written in the book of Psalms that the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those crushed in spirit. And I cling to this promise with everything I have, refusing to let go even when pain whispers that I am forgotten, even when the world turns its face away and leaves me standing alone in the dust of disappointment. So I call upon your strength now, not as a distant figure, but as a presence that understands battle, understands wounds, understands endurance beyond what seems humanly possible. Do not scroll away, do not turn your attention elsewhere, because something is being stirred right now in the unseen. Something that could change the course of your life if you dare to remain, if you dare to press deeper into these words. Speak it out loud where you are. Declare, I will not leave this prayer unfinished. Because every second you remain is a step away from the chains that have held your emotions hostage, and it is written in the prophecy of Isaiah that by his wounds we are healed, not partially, not temporarily, but completely, even the wounds that no one else can see, even the ones buried beneath years of silence. So stay, because leaving now may cost you the breakthrough your soul has been begging for in secret. O St. George, stand beside me as I confront the scars left by rejection, those moments when doors were closed, when voices dismissed me, when opportunities slipped through my fingers and left behind a bitter echo that still lingers in my thoughts. I refuse to accept that this is my final story, because the word declares in the letter to the Romans that God works all things together for good for those who love Him. And I hold on to this truth like a lifeline, even when my circumstances try to convince me otherwise, even when the memory of humiliation rises, like a shadow in my mind, trying to define who I am and what I deserve. If you are still here, it is not by accident. It is because something within you knows that leaving would mean surrendering to the very pain that has been suffocating your spirit. Type it, whisper it, declare it boldly. I refuse to be defined by rejection, and let those words become a weapon against every lie that has tried to take root in your heart, because it is written in the Gospel of John that you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And freedom begins right now, in this moment, as you choose to stay, to listen, to believe that your story is not over, and that healing is not just possible, it is already moving toward you. O St. George, I bring before you the deep wounds caused by financial struggle, the nights of anxiety, the silent tears shed over unpaid bills, the shame of not having enough, the humiliation of being overlooked and underestimated. I lay it all bare, refusing to hide any longer, because it is written in the Gospel according to Matthew that, look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. And if even the smallest creatures are cared for, how much more will I be remembered? How much more will provision find its way into my life when I refuse to give up? Do not ignore this moment. Do not treat it as just another set of words, because what you do right now matters more than you realize. Declare with conviction, I will not allow lack to control my destiny, and feel the shift begin, even if it is small, even if it is quiet, because it is written in the book of Philippians that my God will supply all your needs according to his riches in glory, not according to the limits of this world, not according to the opinions of others, but according to something far greater, something unstoppable, something that no force of darkness can block when you choose to believe, O St. George. Help me break the chains of emotional exhaustion that come from constant struggle, from always feeling like I am fighting just to breathe, just to exist, just to keep going when everything inside me wants to collapse. I refuse to be consumed by this heaviness, because it is written in the book of Isaiah that those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. And I hold on to this promise with a grip that will not loosen, no matter how intense the storm becomes around me. If you are still listening, understand this clearly. Leaving now would mean turning your back on a moment that could redefine everything. So stay with intention, stay with expectation, and say it with me. My strength is being renewed right now, because your voice carries power, your declaration matters, and what you speak in faith begins to shape the reality around you, even when you cannot yet see the full picture. Even when doubt tries to creep in and whisper that nothing is changing, O St. George, I confront the shame that has tried to silence me, the feeling of being less than, the weight of comparison, the quiet voice that says I am not enough, not worthy, not capable. I reject these lies completely, because it is written in the first letter of Peter that you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, and I choose to see myself through this truth, not through the distorted lens of past failures, not through the cruel judgments of others, but through a perspective that restores dignity and purpose. Do not let distraction steal this from you. Do not let your mind wander, because what is happening right now is too important to miss. Declare boldly, I am chosen, I am not rejected, and let that statement echo within you until it begins to reshape how you see yourself, how you carry yourself, how you face the world, because it is written in the book of Ephesians that we are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works. And that means your existence has value, your life has direction, your future holds meaning beyond what you have experienced so far. O St. George, stand guard over my thoughts, because the battle within the mind is relentless, filled with memories of humiliation, moments of lack, echoes of rejection that try to replay themselves over and over again. I refuse to let these thoughts dominate me, because it is written in the second letter to the Corinthians that we take captive every thought to make it obedient. And I begin that process now, refusing to entertain anything that contradicts the truth of who I am and what is being prepared for my life. Stay here, do not move, because something is shifting even if you cannot fully explain it yet. Say it now. I take control of my thoughts and feel the authority in those words. Feel the shift in your spirit, because this is not just repetition. This is alignment. This is transformation beginning from within. This is the moment where everything starts to turn in a different direction. If you refuse to quit, if you refuse to walk away before the breakthrough fully unfolds, O St. George, I ask for healing that reaches deeper than surface wounds, healing that touches the roots of pain, the hidden places where rejection and lack have intertwined and created patterns that seem impossible to break. I refuse to accept those patterns as permanent, because it is written in the book of Jeremiah that, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And I hold on to this declaration as a promise that cannot be undone, no matter how intense my past has been. Do not leave now. You have come too far to stop here. And what is being formed in this moment requires your full attention, your full presence, your full willingness to believe. Declare it clearly. My future will not look like my past. And let those words become a turning point, a line drawn in the sand, a decision that you will no longer carry the same burdens into the next chapter of your life, no matter how familiar they have become. O St. George, fight alongside me against every force that tries to keep me trapped in cycles of emotional pain, financial struggle, and internal defeat, because I refuse to remain where I have been. I refuse to accept limitations that were never meant to define me, and I stand on the truth written in the book of Deuteronomy that the Lord will open the heavens, the storehouse of His bounty, to send rain on your land in season, and to bless all the work of your hands. And I hold on to this as a living promise that provision, restoration, and healing are not distant ideas, but approaching realities that cannot be stopped when faith refuses to retreat. In the name of the Most High, I lift my voice with trembling urgency, calling upon the intercession of St. George, the one who faced darkness without retreat, the one who stood when fear demanded surrender. And I ask that every unseen battle surrounding this life be exposed and confronted right now. For it is written in the book of Isaiah, "No weapon that is formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against you in judgment you shall condemn." And I cling to this promise as if it were breath itself, refusing to let doubt take root, refusing to let despair speak louder than truth. And I urge you listening right now, do not scroll away. Do not abandon this moment, because what is being stirred here may be the very shield that stands between your peace and the chaos-seeking entry into your home. Type with conviction, "I will stand firm and not retreat," and let your declaration become a wall against the unseen. Right now, I press deeper into this cry, asking that every hidden trap, every silent threat, every shadow that moves without permission be broken under the authority of divine justice, just as it is written in the book of Psalms. "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me." And I hold tightly to these words, not as poetry, but as survival, not as comfort, but as a weapon, because there are moments when fear whispers louder than faith. And if you leave now, if you disconnect from this covering, you risk stepping back into that valley unguarded. And I need you to stay, to focus, to declare in your own words, "I will not walk alone. I refuse to be consumed." Write it, believe it, let it echo beyond what you can see. I call now upon the courage that defined St. George, that fearless endurance that did not bend under pressure, that did not collapse under threat, and I ask that same strength be poured into every weak place in your spirit, because it is written in the book of Joshua, "Be strong and courageous, do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." And this is not a suggestion, it is a command that carries power, a command that reshapes reality, and you cannot afford to ignore it. You cannot afford to treat this moment lightly, because hesitation gives space for darkness to grow. So I need you now, engage with this moment. Say it out loud or type it boldly. "I choose courage over fear. I will not be shaken." And do not move from this place until you feel that truth settle within you. Let every chain that has silently wrapped around your mind begin to loosen now. Let every voice that has tried to convince you that you are alone be silenced. For it is written in the book of Romans, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" And this is not a rhetorical question. This is a declaration of dominance over every opposing force. And yet many walk as though they are defeated. Many breathe as though hope has expired. And I refuse to let that be your story. Not tonight. Not in this moment. Do not make the mistake of stepping away, because what is breaking now may never break again if you abandon it halfway. Declare with intensity, "No force stands against me successfully. I am covered," and anchor yourself in that confession. I press further, asking that every door that has been opened unknowingly to harm, to confusion, to unrest be shut with authority, sealed with truth, reinforced with unwavering faith, because it is written in the book of James, "Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." And this fleeing is not gradual. It is immediate when resistance is real, when submission is genuine. And I need you to understand, passive listening will not shift your reality. Engagement will, so stay present. Do not drift, do not minimize this, because the moment you disengage, resistance weakens. And I urge you, write it now. I resist every negative force. I stand aligned with truth, and let that become your stance moving forward. I ask now that your home, your space, your environment be filled with a presence that disrupts every attempt of intrusion, every attempt of disorder, every attempt of silent destruction. For it is written in the book of Proverbs, "The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe." And safety is not passive. It is entered, it is claimed, it is inhabited. And you must not remain outside of it. You must not linger in vulnerability, because hesitation creates exposure. And exposure invites attack. So do not leave this prayer unfinished. Do not break your focus now. Declare boldly, "My home is protected. No harm will settle here." And let that declaration reshape the atmosphere around you. I speak now against every delayed blessing, every provision that feels distant, every answer that seems withheld. And I align this moment with the truth that refuses to be denied. For it is written in the book of Matthew, "Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you." And I stand on this with unwavering insistence. I choose to believe that provision is already on its way, even if I cannot yet see the evidence, and you must hold on to that with everything in you, because doubt delays what faith accelerates. And if you abandon this belief now, you risk prolonging what is already prepared. So declare it, type it, engrave it in your mind. What is meant for me is already moving toward me. I call now for clarity to replace confusion, for direction to replace wandering, for certainty to silence every conflicting voice. Because it is written in the book of Corinthians, "For God is not a God of confusion but of peace." And where confusion thrives, peace has been displaced, and that displacement must be corrected. It must be reversed, and this is the moment for that shift. Do not underestimate it. Do not treat it casually, because clarity lost can lead to decisions that echo with consequences. Stay here, stay engaged, declare it now. Confusion leaves me, clarity fills me, and let that become the foundation of every decision you make from this point forward. I press deeper still, confronting every fear that has disguised itself as logic, every anxiety that has presented itself as caution, and I dismantle it with the truth that stands unshaken. For it is written in the book of Timothy, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." And that means fear is not your inheritance. It is an intrusion, and intrusions must be removed, must be expelled, must be denied access, and you cannot do that passively. You must do it intentionally. So do not leave now. Do not disconnect. Declare with force. Fear has no authority over me. I operate in power, and let that truth reshape your internal world. I ask now that every burden that has been carried silently, every weight that has bent your posture, every pressure that has stolen your rest be lifted, not gradually, but decisively, because it is written in the book of Matthew, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." And rest is not just physical, it is mental, it is emotional, it is spiritual. And if you walk away from this moment, you risk carrying what was meant to be released. So stay, remain present, engage fully, declare it now. I release what is not mine to carry, and let that release begin to transform your entire being. I continue this cry, refusing to let intensity fade, refusing to let this moment weaken, because what is happening here requires persistence, requires focus, requires unwavering attention, and I anchor it in the truth written in the book of Hebrews. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And this evidence is not visible yet, but it is real, it is active, it is moving. And if you disconnect now, you may miss the manifestation of what is already forming. So do not step away. Do not lose focus. Declare it. My faith is active. My breakthrough is forming. And let that declaration carry you forward without hesitation. I call once more upon the unwavering example of St. George, that relentless courage, that refusal to bow, that endurance that did not collapse under pressure. And I ask that same fire be ignited within you now, because this is not just a prayer, this is a turning point. This is a line being drawn, and stepping away now would mean leaving that line incomplete, leaving that stand unfinished, and that is not an option, not after coming this far, not after engaging this deeply. So declare with everything in you, I will not turn back, I will not give up. I remain until transformation is complete, and hold on to that with unshakable resolve. I call upon St. George in this very moment, not as a distant symbol, but as a living force of courage standing beside me, as I face what tries to weaken my spirit and confuse my path. And I declare with unwavering conviction that I will not step away from this prayer, because leaving now would mean abandoning the very breakthrough that is forming in silence around me. And it is written in Bible, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" And I hold these words as a shield against every fear trying to rise within me. So stay here, stay focused. Do not allow distraction to steal what is being prepared for you right now. Type in your heart or even say it aloud, "I will not leave this moment. I will stand until transformation reaches me and my house." Because something is shifting even now. I visualize a new path opening before me, where opportunities replace obstacles and clarity replaces confusion. And I refuse to accept the illusion that I am stuck, because it is written, "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope." And I take hold of this promise as something alive and active in my reality. St. George, ride ahead of me and break every barrier that has been planted in my way. Cut through every unseen resistance. And if you are still here reading or listening, understand this. Do not scroll away. Do not abandon this connection, because the moment you disengage is the moment doubt tries to reclaim ground. Declare now, "I am stepping into my new path and nothing will stop me." I ask for strength that does not collapse under pressure. Strength that grows in the face of adversity. Because the word says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid nor be dismayed. For the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." And I receive that presence as something surrounding me right now. St. George, warrior, who did not retreat in the face of danger, teach my spirit to stand firm when everything around me tries to shake me, and listen carefully. If you leave this prayer halfway, you risk returning to the same cycle that has been draining your peace. So stay anchored, type or whisper, "I choose strength over fear," and let that declaration echo within you as something irreversible. I bring before this moment every hidden struggle, every silent battle that no one else sees. And I refuse to let darkness operate in secrecy any longer, because it is written, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn." And I stand under that protection now, St. George. Confront what I cannot see. Dismantle what has been designed against me in silence. And if you are tempted to leave this prayer, recognize that temptation itself may be the very resistance being broken right now. Do not give it power. Say it with intention. "Nothing formed against me will succeed," and remain here, because something is being overturned. I speak over my mind, rejecting confusion, rejecting anxiety, rejecting the noise that tries to cloud my decisions, because it is written, "You will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you, because he trusts in you." And I anchor my thoughts in that peace. St. George, clear the battlefield of my mind. Remove every lie that has been repeated until it sounded like truth, and understand this deeply. If you disconnect now, you allow confusion to return stronger. But if you remain, clarity will take root. So declare boldly, "My mind is being renewed right now," and stay engaged. Because your focus is part of this transformation. I call for protection over my home, over every person connected to me, over every space I enter. Because it is written, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." And I claim that covering not as a distant idea, but as a present reality. St. George, stand at every entrance, block every negative influence. And if you think about leaving this prayer, ask yourself, do you want to leave your doors unguarded in a moment like this? Or do you want to remain and secure what matters most? Say it now, "My house is protected, my family is covered." And do not move away from this moment. I bring my fears into the light and refuse to let them define my future. Because it is written, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." And I embrace that power as something alive within me now. St. George, confront every fear that has been paralyzing my steps and replace it with boldness that cannot be shaken. And listen carefully. Leaving this prayer now would be like turning your back on the very courage being built inside you. Do not do that. Instead, say with conviction, "I reject fear and I walk in power," and stay present. Because this is where change begins. I declare that what has been delayed will begin to move, that what has been blocked will begin to open. Because it is written, Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be opened to you. And I am not asking passively. I am asking with expectation. St. George, push open the doors that have remained closed for too long. And if you feel impatience rising, do not let it pull you away from this moment, because persistence is part of the breakthrough. Say it now. Doors are opening for me, and remain here, because what you are seeking is already responding. I confront every cycle that keeps repeating in my life, every pattern that has limited my growth, and I declare an end to it, because it is written, forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing, and I align myself with that newness right now, St. George. Break the chains of repetition. Disrupt what has been looping in my life, and understand this. If you leave this prayer, you risk stepping back into the same cycle. But if you stay, you step into something different, so declare it clearly. My life is entering a new season, and do not disconnect from this moment. I speak over my future with certainty, refusing to let uncertainty dominate my expectations. Because it is written, the path of the righteous is like the morning sun, shining ever brighter till the full light of day. And I see that path becoming clearer with every step I take. St. George, guide me forward with precision. Remove every distraction that tries to pull me off course. And if your attention begins to drift, pull it back immediately, because focus is part of the victory. Say it now. My path is becoming clear, and remain engaged, because direction is being established even now. I declare restoration over what has been lost, healing over what has been damaged, renewal over what has been exhausted, because it is written, He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for His name's sake. And I receive that restoration as something happening now. St. George, stand with me as what was broken begins to be rebuilt. And if you feel like giving up or stepping away, recognize that restoration requires your presence in this moment. So say it with intention. I am being restored, and stay connected, because rebuilding has already begun. I stand in expectation of what is unfolding, refusing to settle for less than what has been promised, because it is written, now to Him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think. And I align my expectation with that abundance. St. George, continue to move ahead of me, clearing, opening, establishing. And if you are still here, do not break this connection now, because the moment you stay is the moment you position yourself to receive. So declare boldly, I will remain, I will receive, I will not step away from what is being released into my life. Right now I call upon St. George, standing firm in courage when fear surrounds me, as I allow hope to rise again even after disappointment presses heavily upon my spirit, trusting that something greater is unfolding beyond what I can see, even when my eyes fail to recognize the path ahead and my heart trembles under the weight of uncertainty. For it is written in the book of Isaiah, those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. And right now, if you are listening, do not dare to leave this moment, because stepping away now could mean abandoning the very breakthrough prepared for you. Type with conviction, I will remain, I will endure, I will receive what is meant for me, and let your voice be. Anchored in this sacred declaration, I stand here refusing to surrender to despair, even when disappointment whispers lies into my thoughts, because the truth echoes from the book of Psalms. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? And as these words settle deep within me, I feel a fire awakening that no darkness can extinguish. So do not scroll away. Do not abandon this prayer, because leaving now invites confusion to settle where clarity is trying to be born. Speak out loud wherever you are. I reject fear and I choose strength. Write it, declare it. Let it be known that your spirit refuses to be defeated, because something powerful is happening in this very moment. I allow my soul to be lifted beyond the limitations of what I understand, knowing that the unseen work of restoration is already in motion. Just as it is written in the book of Romans, all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to His purpose. And even when my circumstances try to convince me otherwise, I anchor myself in that promise. And if you feel the urge to leave, resist it with everything within you, because what is forming right now cannot be interrupted. Declare boldly, I trust the process even when I cannot trace the outcome. And let that confession become your shield against every doubt attempting to weaken your faith. I refuse to let past failures define the future that is still being written for me, because the word in the book of Lamentations says, the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. And right now, as you hear these words, understand that a new beginning is not a distant dream, but a present reality unfolding in silence. Do not make the mistake of walking away, because stepping out now could silence the very renewal meant to reach you. Declare it. With urgency, I embrace new mercies, and I release old burdens. Let your heart align with that truth and refuse to be shaken. I stand in the presence of unseen battles, yet I am not unarmed, because as written in the book of Ephesians, put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the enemy. And I clothe myself in truth, righteousness, and unwavering faith, knowing that no opposition can prevail against a spirit that refuses to bow. And if you are tempted to leave, remember this. Walking away now could open doors you have been praying to keep closed. So stay, remain, declare with power, I am protected, I am covered, I am unshaken, and let those words echo until they become your reality. I allow hope to rise again, even after disappointment has tried to bury it, because I know that what is delayed is not denied. And as it is written in the book of Habakkuk, though the vision tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not delay. And in this waiting, I find strength that defies logic. So do not disconnect from this moment, because leaving now could interrupt the alignment that is taking place. Speak it boldly. I will wait with faith and not with fear. Type it, affirm it. Let your declaration shake every barrier that stands in your way. I refuse to accept defeat as my story, because the truth declared in the book of 1 Corinthians says, thanks be to God who gives us the victory through our Lord. And that victory is not something distant, but something alive within me right now, pushing me forward even when I feel like stopping. And if you are still here, understand this. Your persistence is not in vain, but if you leave now, you risk stepping out of alignment with what is being established. Declare it with conviction. Victory is already mine, and let that statement ignite something unstoppable inside you. I lift my thoughts above the chaos that tries to consume me, because the book of Colossians reminds me, set your mind on things above, not on things on the earth. And as I do this, I begin to see beyond the temporary struggles into a reality shaped by purpose and divine intention. Do not lose focus now, because distraction is the tool that steals what is being built. Declare out loud, I focus on what is greater than my fear, and let your attention become your strength. In this very moment, I allow my heart to be strengthened even in the midst of uncertainty, because as written in the book of Joshua, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And that promise follows me into every unknown place I step into. So do not step away from this prayer, because leaving now could disconnect you from the courage that is being released. Declare it. I walk forward with courage, and I refuse to retreat. And let those words become your foundation. I stand firm against every voice that tries to diminish my worth, because the book of Psalms declares, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And no circumstance has the authority to rewrite that truth. So if you are hearing this, hold on tightly, because letting go now could allow lies to take root where truth is trying to grow. Speak it clearly. I am valuable. I am chosen. I am rising. And let that declaration silence every doubt that has been speaking against you. I allow peace to settle within me, even when everything around me feels unstable. Because the book of John says, peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you, not as the world gives do I give to you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. And that peace is not dependent on circumstances, but anchored in something far greater. So do not leave this moment, because stepping away now could allow fear to return. Declare it. I receive peace that surpasses understanding, and let that peace guard your heart and mind. I continue to press forward, refusing to be shaken, because the book of Philippians reminds me, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. And that strength flows through every weakness, transforming it into resilience that cannot be broken. So stay here, remain engaged, because leaving now could mean missing the transformation already in motion. Declare with power, I am strengthened, I am sustained, I am moving forward no matter what stands before me. And let that declaration carry you beyond every limitation trying to hold you back. Now, as this moment comes to a close, understand this. Something has already shifted within you. Even if nothing around you has visibly changed yet, something inside you has awakened. And that is where every miracle begins. The transformation of your financial life does not start with numbers, opportunities, or circumstances. It begins with alignment, with faith, and with the decision to no longer surrender to fear. Carry this awareness with you beyond this moment. Walk forward knowing that you are not alone in your battles, that every step you take is seen, and that every act of faith, no matter how small, moves you closer to the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Trust the process, trust the timing, and trust that what has begun here will continue to unfold in ways greater than you can imagine.